last question. What do you think of Raymond Indra and Nikolaus Joaquin? Now, these two, Raymond Indra and Nikolaus Joaquin, won the Australian Open. They beat their older compatriots Fajar Alfian and Mohamed Shobal Fikri in the final. An absolutely ridiculous result. Really, really good. What do I think of them? Well, I think they're really, really good. End of question? No, just joking. No, really exciting. A lot of people online have basically been comparing them to the Minions. Understandable, because they're young, extremely fast, extremely attacking, extremely exciting, extremely creative, and obviously have just got quite a bit of success early on. Also, like the Minions, their Minions' first title of this similar level was in 2016, was the India Open, where they beat their compatriots, but also their second title was another win over the same pair. I can't remember who it was. It was, I had it down, but I've just forgotten it. Anyway, but it was the same tournament, the Australian Open in 2016. So there's another comparison, that their first big titles pretty much at the same tournaments. More comparisons is that the coach who paired them together at the beginning of this year, Coach Chaffetz, was the pair who put the Minions together. He also put Alfian and Fajar Alfian and Mohamed Rian Ardianto together, and Gracia Polly and Aprihana Rahayu, the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games winners doubles champions. So he's got an eye for creating pairs that go on to achieve a lot of success. And so maybe he's done the same with Raymond and Nikolaus. And they've had a pretty good 2025. And their improvement has just been this. They started the year on the national circuit, won a number of titles there. Then they played on the international series and challenge tournaments, won a few there. Then they won a Super 100 in Korea Masters, where I first took note of them. They got a runner-up. That's a Super 300. And then this is their first tournament, first Super 500, and they win the whole thing. A pretty meteoric rise, and it's going to be quite interesting to see if they can continue that. Now, of course, there's been people will compare them to the Minions, but whilst there are a number of similarities, there's a lot of differences too. Whilst they are similar to the Minions in the fact that they're very quick and fast and creative, the way both players play is very different to Kevin and Marcus. There is only ever going to be one Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo. No one's going to be, well, I dare I say no one, but it's going to be very difficult to see someone as flamboyant, as fast, as creative as him. I think, personally, Raymond and Nikolaus are like a blend of Marcus and Kevin together. Raymond's a little bit more Kevin, and Nikolaus is a little bit Marcus. That's how I kind of see it. Raymond's a little bit more kind of creative and doing all this kind of stuff. Nikolaus has a little bit more, I wouldn't say basicness, but real hard work, boom, massive smashes, all that kind of stuff. And because of that, they also play, I think, slightly differently. So with the Minions, their goal was always to get Marcus at the back, Kevin at the front. And rarely, if Kevin was at the front, would he try to rotate out unless he felt he had to help or, he was forced out. With Nikolaus and Raymond, they're constantly looking to move out and rotate. So they're constantly, whoever's at the back, generally speaking, the other player. So say Raymond's smashing at the back, Nikolaus is always looking to push out onto the diagonal, and they kind of do a lot of this. And as a result, they're rotating around each other non-stop. Whereas with the Minions, obviously, if Kevin was at the back, we would see a little more rotation because they wanted Marcus at the back. He was the one with the big smash, the big power, and Kevin was obviously lightning fast at the net. So they obviously wanted to have that sort of setup. Whereas Raymond and Nikolaus, they're much more free-flowing and fluid, because it doesn't matter whether Raymond's at the back or Nikolaus at the back or vice versa. They're equally as strong in all departments. So they're kind of like this. So it's interesting because usually Indonesia have gone with either one back player, one front player, or one very creative one player, one very basic player. I know they've had success with Alfian and Fikri, who are kind of seen as two front court players. Now they've got success with Raymond and Nikolaus, who, for me, there are some slight differences between the two, but they're very similar. And so they can kind of just go into whatever they want. They play things. So obviously, as a result, they set up rallies very differently to the Minions. I guess really, and this was the kind of the sentiment that I felt, because I did a post about them, 2 posts about them on Instagram. I think one of them, the last one, was I've seen a lot of comments about comparing to the minions. Do we agree or not? And the vast majority of people disagree. And the reasons are that basically you shouldn't compare them to the minions. There'll only ever be one minions pair. We should allow Raymond and Nikolaus to be themselves. We shouldn't put any unnecessary burden on them. It's still too early to tell. These were a number of the reasons, and I completely agree with all of them. We should allow them to be their own pair. They are, for me, different. The only thing really that's similar, other than the coach who put them together and doing so well so early, I know they need to be a bit more, get a few more wins to really be compared to the minions, because they absolutely blasted onto the scene, is more the fact that they're young, they're fast, they're exciting, they're entertaining. I think the way that they make people feel, especially when I watched them, I first noticed them at the Korea Masters, it immediately hit me. I was like, wow, okay. Indonesia produced really good pairs all the time. I was watching another one this morning who won like the Indonesia International Challenge. And they were exciting to watch, two left-handed players. But this pair, Raymond and Nikolaus, there was something a bit different about them that just gave me this, like, when I saw them in Korea. And so when I saw them doing well in Australia and then they went and won it, it was almost like a surprise, but not a surprise. And so I got this feeling that, we never know what's going to happen in the future, but they have this aura around them, this feeling that they're giving me that we could see a lot more of them moving into the future. Let me just finish talking about these guys. Like I said, I first noticed them at the Korea Masters, especially their win over Cam Min-hyuk and Ki Dong-ju. And this week in Australia, they were even better. Very exciting and fresh. Just willing to go out there and play. They had absolutely no fear. They did say, especially after the final, they were playing with nothing to lose. So it will be interesting to see how they play in their next few tournaments when expectations and more eyes are going to be on them. How do they handle that sort of thing? That's going to be quite an important thing for them to deal with, but also for their coaches. How do they help them deal with that situation? I think their coach said it's just going to be really interesting to see how they take this early success and push on. They're going to be hungry to keep learning, because one thing they've been very good at is absorbing information like a sponge, really willing to learn. Can they continue that? The key to a lot of Indonesian top pair success in the past has been an undying want and desire to keep learning, to keep getting better. So if they can do that, they're definitely going to have a lot of success. So I think the other thing is not just eyes on them from fans and from coaches, but also from other pairs and other coaches that are going to be looking to try and find out ways to counter their style. That's always going to be the case for any player or pair. If you do well, you blast on to the scene and you're suddenly seen as possibly a threat, you're going to have people going away and trying to figure out what you can do to beat them. For me, I already spoke about how Alfin and Fikri in the second game took a lot of the speed out of the game. That was also something I felt I saw in the Korea Masters final against Lee Jong-min and Wang Chan, where, again, that game was first game. I think Raymond and Nikolaus won, not easily, but it was fast-paced. And then I think by the third game, it was very one-sided to the Koreans. I think the Koreans were able to kind of absorb enough of the pressure, play enough of the soft blocks, use the gaps, and kind of slow the game down a little bit. Something they could improve upon is, or something that they would need to work on, definitely, is developing their plan B and plan C. Because their plan A is what we saw: fast, exciting, very attacking, creative badminton. But if a pair is able to take that away, or to be able to withstand it and not give them much to feed off, what do they do then? Their patient game. They're kind of, how do they get the game to turn back around into their own favour? What do they need to do? All those kind of things, those little things. Another area I feel that they definitely can improve on is physically. They are good, but they're only young, 20 and 21. They've got some, they could do a little bit, they could fill out a little more, get a little bit stronger. That's just obviously one other thing. And like I said, not just attacking when they're given nothing, but also defending when they're given nothing. I think when they're not playing with speed and with pace, for me, it wasn't as good. It's not like it was terrible, but it's something that, again, maybe they will just need to develop, is how strong and how solid they can be when someone goes, right, we're just going to absorb nothing. Something that, let's be honest here, every top pair at the moment is looking at Kim Won-ho and Seo Sun-jae, and they're very good at. They can play very fast and attacking and all that kind of stuff, but if they need to suck speed out to stop a pair from blasting at them, they're very good at doing that. They're very good at changing their style. So how are Raymond and Nikolaus going to develop so that they can challenge pairs that can do that? So that for me is an interesting thing for the future for them. But what I want to finish with is that, yes, I absolutely love this pair. I love the fact they weren't afraid of anyone that they played. They played very fast, very skillful. They have a great understanding of each other and where they want to play with constant pushing out the diagonals. They were just linking up so well. Their defense on the front foot kept getting better and better and better. Actually, I think in like second round or quarterfinals, I said that maybe the defense could be something to work on. But their defense got better and better. That was playing off speed, off the front foot. They were really always looking to kind of push in and really create. For me, it was a classic Indonesian style. And that's, someone actually asked me, what do I mean by classic Indonesian style? And it's just like a free-flowing attacking game, limited lifting. It's quite hard to explain well. You just know it when you see it. That's what I'll say about that. But yeah, no, really exciting pair, and I cannot wait to see more of them.